So today is the AGM lecture. So for those who I haven't met, I'm Marabel Villa Serin. I've been the chair for the past year, and today's presentation is for the celebration of Asil's becoming the new chair of the BTSYM. So about my term. So when I started, I wanted to make it about people. And for that, we needed to engage younger engineers, especially those who started working during COVID and they were not used to coming to our events. We wanted to foster a sense of belonging and make sure everyone felt part of the community, provide mentorship and safe space for engineers to present their work and seek guidance, and expand to the north so members outside London could feel equally engaged, as well as collaborating with national and international organizations. And to support these aims, I established two new committees, the Sustainability and Innovation one, and Diversity, Inclusion and Women in Tunneling, also known as EDI. And to fulfill everything I had in mind, I needed an amazing group, and my dream team came alive. So looking at the calendar since December 2024, actually, we started with a lecture on horizontal drilling, and then in January, we learned about the world's longest tunnel by a single TBM with a Strabag. And this lecture was broadcasted in Birmingham, where they had a social afterwards. But it also was our first hybrid lecture with one of our speakers presenting from Yorkshire to accommodate his lunar year celebration on the following day. In February, we had our first session on sustainability training in Birmingham, and we had a webinar with the French Association on Machine Learning for Surface Settlements, and our first social of the year at the Acton Depot Museum. In March, I have some pictures here actually. In March, we had the second session of sustainability, this time in Leeds, and we celebrated our first International Women's Day with the main BTS. And Becker gave a workshop on steel fiber reinforced concrete at the ICE. In April, we had a joint webinar with the French Association where we presented, obviously, HS2, and they presented, obviously, Le Grand Paris. In May, we had a collaboration with Cambridge University with a presentation about the Deep Geological Repository in Switzerland, and we went to the World Tunnel Congress. Nekin and Asil represented the UK, and they were part of the working groups, and I had the opportunity of representing the UK for the ITAYM committee election. In June, we had another lecture at the ICE and a really well-attended social at Regent's Park, where I thought I was going to lose part of my committee because I'm too competitive just to play in the park, but everything went okay, I think. In July, we looked to the future of underground power and hydropower projects with a joint webinar with the Australian Tunnelling Society young members. And on the same month, we partnered with the Nigerian Tunnelling Association with a webinar about pipe jacking. And we ended the month celebrating Pride with a joint event with the ICEDI, Inter-Engineering, the BGA Early Careers Group, and the Geological Society. In August, we only had a tunnel talk in Birmingham, but in September, we went back to Birmingham for the Geo Expo, where Asil was representing the BTSYM. On the same day, we had a joint lecture with the main BTS on core glass, following the workshop we had about drill and blast at the IC. Also, throughout the year, our schools and universities outreach committee has done an amazing job. They visited several schools and participated in various events, including the use of virtual reality in one of the sessions. And we ended the term with our signature BTSYM conference at Arup's office, with 26 speakers, including 5 speakers who traveled from Europe, from Italy, Spain, France, and Belgium, and more than 100 attendees. We had a full day of presentations, a workshop, a good networking, and obviously ending in a really good social. And the events by location, in the end, everything happened almost in London, but we tried to move to the north as we mentioned at the beginning. And yeah, this is a picture of the conference. So in the end, I think we have done a really good job and we have accomplished the goals we set up at the beginning of the year with all the events we've organized, and hopefully you I see you at the World Talent Congress next year in Canada, since two of our abstracts have been accepted and the papers have been submitted. One was by our sustainability group and the other one is by our EDI team. So this is a presentation I had ready, and I think it shows all the things we've been doing throughout the year, and we will end hopefully next year in Canada. And this is the group that made everything happen. So I just want to thank you all for the support. Thank you to the committee for make everything happen, for challenging me and for making a better and more aware person and professional. And also thank you to the sponsors and the main BTS who have supported us throughout the year. And also thanks to all of you who attended the events and volunteered and encouraged others to come. So now I leave the stage for Asil. I wish you all the best. You are going to do an amazing job. So welcome, BTSYM chair.
First of all, thank you, Arabelle, for your kind words. Am I audible to everyone? Good evening. Arabelle, you have done a cracking job for us and changing BTS and innovating all the way. The theme you gave us, people, is what really matters at the end of the day. And I am going to build on your theme, which is people, to develop the strategy for this session. When you say people, I remember first time I went on site to the project office, was booted to the site and met the site foreman. And I have learned and built everything from ground up. So what I found, what really is missing at the site was how innovative people are there and how we neglect it. How often the disconnect between the offices for design and site is there. So the theme for this year on building is about enabling innovators. Most of my learning and innovation so far have come with my conversations sitting in the operator's cabin in a TBM or having a chat with the foreman at the tunnel face. And this is what I want to stress for this year. And the lecture this evening reflects that. To achieve this, what we need to do as a membership network, we need to evolve that trust. In my observations, I found people working in silos. So through a membership network at the BTS, we plan to develop that trust to break those silos. We have committees where young members work and develop that tenacity to try and fail in a safe space, because we lack at point this happens because we generally treat people as something else in terms of materials. Like we as engineers, as construction professionals, think of materials as if they're stressed, they become weaker. But people are not materials, they are something which is anti-fragile. So if you stress them, they become stronger unless you reach a stage where they're traumatized. So let's not do that. So if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So that's the philosophy. So in this regard, the committees are a good, safe space to do that. Now, events that we organize, something like this, often helps us to come up with new solutions and upskill ourselves that increase our brain's throughput. Now, we in this industry work in such a way that we have too focused on the cost rather than the deliverables that come across. And start treating a mindset as that as we evolve. So instead of taking that faith to trust in people and share our ideas to increase our brain's throughput of ideas, we work and cloister in those silos. So the events we do, it's free to share to do that. Now, I remember my father, he worked in construction industry as an engineer in challenging environments like deserts and in tropical rains in India, and used to say, Like whenever an engineer joins, a graduate engineer joins a project, they think they're the chief engineer. And it's when the reality hits you, the true humility you understand, that one starts to grow. In that case, as a young engineer, I never listened to him being young, so went across but luckily my project director was good enough to boot me onto site and learn things the hard way. So I grew up and developed that mindset. So I will be in sync with the BTS main committee and try to listen words of wisdom. Now, the structure we are proposing for the committee this year, I'm going to build on the structure which Arabelle started. So we will have, it's a sort of a Mobius loop over here, where you can see we have industries and partnership, professional development, social media, schools and universities, sustainability and innovation, and diversity and inclusion. All of these committees will function and perform their roles as they have. So we maintain a core and continuity to the structure, but adding a different tinge to it, we will be focusing on some core areas which I believe we could do better on. For example, when in all of my entire undergrad, I didn't have so much of relevant learning as much as I had for a couple of months as an intern on site. And apprentices right now have the best of both worlds. They gain that practical experience which is relevant to the industry. We have been reaching out a lot to schools and universities, but we haven't been approaching them much. That said, we have reached out to them through Tunnel Skills and their career fairs in Peterborough College, which Arabelle said earlier. And we accompanied with CK Tech as well. They help get the operatives and apprentices up to mark as well. The other bit is we can't be tunnel visioned if we want to innovate within the industry. To innovate, we need to focus on the wider underground space industry and get those different perspectives and ideas from everyone to go ahead on that. And the elephant in the room, Gen AI, whether it happens or doesn't, takes the jobs or not, I think David Porter, the current IC president, responded well to this answer, in which he said, AI might not be able to take your job, but a professional who has upskilled with that skill might be. So it's something which we can't neglect for the next couple of decades, and it has become a race. Once we start this innovation engine running and these focus areas, as they become clear, this will be my this will be my committee for this year, where, as you can see, Max will be leading the Professional Development Committee, Nagin, Sustainability and Innovation, Arabelle, Exchair, Sid, Underground Space, Salma, which was here, will be doing Gen AI with surrogate modeling and two high level things, but I think we'll do more prompt engineering and get it to the ground first. So it's clear. Liana will be a vice chair. Anime will be leading schools and universities committee, who is an apprentice right now, and also the Doug Allenby winner. Tasnia will be doing diversity and inclusion. Now, there's something we don't talk a lot about in our industry is neurodiversity. I've always been said I don't have a lot of filters. In that case, to come to reality, we wouldn't be part of this industry if we're not part of on the spectrum of it. So that said, what we need to do is realize that talking to people with respect is the thing ahead. And to quote one of our authors in Urdu, Saadat Hasan Manto, if you don't accept if you think the reality is too offensive, then it's perhaps the society you should be pointing to rather than taking offense. So if I say anything offensive, please don't mind. On that note, we'll be also reaching out to the north with Babekar in the north, Jonathan in the Midlands, Jess in the south. Josh, who has done a good job and cracking job for social media, will be leading the committee, and I'll be the chair. Now, without much delay, I'd like to introduce a speaker. But before that, can you please scan the QR code If you're a young member and want to join the committee, this is for the online audience as well. So we are there for you.